let me talk about meditation. So, my friend and I were talking about meditation the other day, and he was saying how he doesn't like to sit for hours, and I said, well, you don't have to sit for hours, that's not true. When I first started meditating, I just kind of sat there and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I just kind of forced myself to sit there, which I think a lot of people do. And meditation isn't easy, but there are some tips and advice and information maybe that can help you that make it easier. And what that is, well, I'll give you a few different tips or pointers, but your brain is always moving and it's always thinking, and it's kind of hard to shut that off. And I think with meditation, you don't shut off your brain, you just become aware. And there's a big difference between not thinking and becoming aware. And by that, what I mean is one of the things that I do when I meditate is I try to not think, but of course, I'm not a Buddhist monk, I'm not a little Chinese man. So thoughts come into my head, and the point is that you don't judge your thoughts, that you sit there, and for me anyway, what I try to do is focus on my breath, because one of the ideas on making meditation easier is to give your mind something to focus on. A lot of people say, there's the monkey mind, that your mind is always running around, there's always chatter or something from your day. But if you give your mind something to focus on, like your breath, then your mind has to slow down. So what I've been told to do, and what I do, is focus on my breath. Just think, inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, inhale, exhale 3. And I just try to focus on my breath, and that's it. And you'll find, at least I find, thoughts are going to come into your head. That's okay, we're just human. So when your thoughts come into your head, that's not a problem. Don't say, this is good, this is bad, why are you here, don't judge it. Just when you notice that you're not thinking about your breath, that you have acknowledged these thoughts, and say, okay, thank you very much, have a nice day, push those thoughts aside, and then come back to thinking about your breath. So for example, if you're sitting and you're meditating, inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, I'm hungry, what am I going to eat today? I'm going to see my friends, I want to do yoga, maybe I want to have a beer later. That's normal. They say actually, most people go 1 or 2 inhale, exhale, like full breaths, and then a thought is going to come into your head. So inhale, exhale, I'm hungry, I could have that burger. Burger. Not a problem. With practice, everything comes. So that's what I would try, or say that you should try to do. And also I was told that if you can go 10 full breaths, inhale, exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, then that's amazing. But that's like, your guru, your master. Because a lot of people, and myself included, I've been meditating for a few years now, steadily, practice every day, and I maybe go 3 or 4 or 5 breaths, maybe. And it's okay, it's not a problem. Everything comes, you have to try. If you don't try, it doesn't come. And so that's what I would say, to try and focus on your breath. Think about giving your mind something to focus on. And so, like, you see me now sitting like this, but you don't have to sit like this. That's another, I think, stereotype that people have, is that you have to sit in lotus position, or you have to sit in, half lotus, or something like this, and you don't. You just have to be comfortable, number one. And number two, from my understanding, you want your hips higher than your knees, and your back straight, shoulders open, your head is in line with your spine, so that your energy and your circulation can flow easier. If sitting like this is not comfortable, then don't sit like this. You can sit in a high-backed chair. There's meditation stools. I actually sit on a meditation pillow so that my hips can be higher than my knees, because I'm not that flexible yet. Or I sit on a yoga block. And so that's, I think, the number one thing that a lot of people think about, that I have to sit in a certain way. But you don't. Number one, you have to be comfortable. If you need a meditation stool, a meditation pillow, a chair, whatever, that's, I think, the most important thing, is to be comfortable so that you can relax and you can allow your mind to focus. If you want to sit in lotus, if you want to have chin mudra, there's the ashtanga, straight arms, chest up, chin down, everything's in line. For me, that's not comfortable. I can't relax like that. It is very energetic. You can feel the energy flowing. But for me, I like to have my hands down. It makes me feel a little bit grounded. I do like to have my back straight. My neck is in line. And I do close my eyes. And you'll find, when you're comfortable and when you're relaxed, everything slows down. Your breath slows down, your heart slows down, your thinking slows down. And I think that's a very important thing. There's a lot of studies done by much smarter people than I from Harvard and universities around the world that actually show that meditation does reprogram your brain. It restructures your gray matter, and of course when your heart slows down, it increases your circulation and a lot of other anatomical, medical stuff, for lack of a better word. So just give it a try. Don't think you have to sit there for hours and hours and hours. Just sit for however long you want. I have built up to about half an hour, and sometimes I sit for an hour. When I was in India with one of my teachers, we would sit for an hour. Well, I would sit for about an hour or an hour and a half, and he would sit for hours, literally like 3 or 4 hours. But that's what he's built up to. So just go at your own speed. I know a friend of mine, she's been meditating for years, maybe 20, 30, possibly 40 years, maybe not that long, 30 years possibly. And when she meditates, she looks like she's in bliss, like she's completely happy. She says that she breathes, maybe she has one breath every 5 minutes, something like this. That's how much her body slows down, and that's like her, I don't know what the word is, but you can really see she's smiling. I mean, it looks like she's in ecstasy, like almost like her, like she even says that she's not in her physical body, that her energetic body leaves and she just goes somewhere else. I'm not there yet. I hope to get there, because the look on her face is pure joy. And so I would love to have that expression and love to have that feeling. But again, I'm also just happy practicing every day, starting my day with 30 minutes of meditation. It's very relaxing, very calming, and it's just a great way to start the day, to start your morning. People say there are better times to meditate, and that's in the early morning or at the end of the day. So I try to wake up relatively early, about 4. It takes me a little while to get out of bed. Maybe hit the snooze once or twice. But I get up and I do meditate for half an hour, and then make a cup of coffee and go on my day. And so that's what I would say for you. Just try and it comes. If you don't try, it doesn't come. And if you don't want to, you don't want to. But if you do want to, you will notice the difference. You'll find a much calmer sense in your body, a calmer sense to your day, and everything slows down, not just your body, but your reactions to things. And you become more aware. And that's one thing that one of my teachers said about his teacher, Mana Maharishi, one of the enlightened, is that, people have Buddha has the idea of nothing. And that's a long story. I don't even know it well enough to talk about nothing. But he said, Maharishi said Buddha was wrong. It's not nothing, it's everything, it's fulfillment. And I think that's that awareness. You're not going to nothing, you're not going to nowhere. You're in such a state of awareness that you realize everything's going on within yourself and in everything around you. And I think when you can get to that level, that's that bliss, that's that joy, because everything is connected. And that would be a very cool feeling, I think, to be able to fully realize that idea that everything is connected. Yeah, I'd like to experience that, and I think I will someday. I want to talk a little bit more about meditation, or just one small factor. After I just got finished making that little clip, I remember talking to one of my friends in Saudi Arabia about meditation, and what he used to do is he put on some music, some candles, some incense, and go outside, and he would just sit and relax, and then he would meditate, or he said, that was his idea of meditation. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's certainly very relaxing. I like music, I like candles, I like incense, but you're giving your brain and your mind more to think about, more stimulus, more stimulation. What I've read is that ideally, you want the least stimulation possible. You don't want candles, you don't want music, you don't want incense. Ideally, a good place to sit and meditate is like a dark room, a dark, quiet room, where you can sit in silence and in darkness, so that your mind can focus on you, on your breathing, and becoming aware. And so when I wake up, I have kind of a loft for a bedroom, and I come downstairs, and I've made a nice spot to practice meditation and yoga. And so when I wake up is usually about 4 o'clock in the morning. The world is very peaceful. There's not a lot of noise going on. My room is very dark and quiet, and it's just a really peaceful place to sit. So that's something else I wanted to talk about, is your environment, where you meditate. If you can meditate on the street in the middle of traffic, or outside with all of that going on, like I said, you probably have reached enlightenment, or you are probably a little Chinese man or a Buddhist monk. But for the rest of us who are not enlightened or a Buddhist monk, I would say try to give the least stimulation possible. If you want to relax, if you want to put on music, some candles, set the scene, as they say, you can do that. But I think, from my experience anyway, it's going to be a lot harder to clear your mind, to become aware of everything instead of just those few things. If you're aware of the candles, if you're aware of music, it's a lot more difficult for you to become aware of the big picture. So that's it. I just wanted to include that, and again, enjoy your practice. I hope to see you soon. Have a